Greetings and welcome to the very first FrostByte of the year. Actually, the very first FrostByte ever, as a matter of fact. What we're trying to do with these little FrostBytes is to give you an opportunity for us to explain to you what's happening for the week and other important things. We purposefully changed the first meeting of the year to make it a little less information heavy so that we could have more fun and have dinner. But consequently, we have a lot of information to give to you at a later date. So we decided to do these weekly FrostBytes just to keep you in the loop if you so choose, and if not, then that would be your option. So the first thing we're going to talk about really quick is actually we're talking about what we're doing this week. So you can see we're in this week right here. So we're doing conditioning over distance. This is the last week of conditioning and over distance for the entire year. Now, most of us have been doing conditioning over distance all summer long, which means we've been really focused on over distance and lots of good quality hours in a good solid over distance pace. So that's what we've been doing: long distance training, long races, and sometimes some long time trials if somebody wanted it, but really not very many of those. Mostly we're just focusing on over distance. As Lydiard would say, once we stop doing this phase, your performance has been set for the year. So we're hoping to do this as long as possible. You'll also notice on strength, we switched over to power velocity last week on Thursday. We didn't really get a chance to talk about what that was about, but our strength program, if you look through, we have this strength program that goes through and changes every 3 or 4 weeks. The reason for that is because we don't want to actually, as cross-country skiers, despite what you might want to do for your beach muscles, as cross-country skiers, we don't want to carry around any excess muscle. So we're trying to make all our muscle extremely useful and purposeful for cross-country ski racing. So what we just did before this was max strength. Now, most of you haven't done that, or not most of you actually have done that, but some of you have not. But now we're in what we're calling power velocity. And this is where we take that max strength. So when we did the squats and we were doing as hard a squats as we could, or as hard a bench press as we could, now we're taking those muscles and we're turning them into power velocity. So what we're trying to do now is make it useful for skiing. We're taking that we're taking the max strength muscles that we created and we're going to make it useful for skiing. That's our hope anyway. So this is all about maximum jumping every time that you can and trying to get as much out of every pop as you can. So you're trying to be really, sorry, the cat is moving my computer. So Cal is being really fun here. He keeps moving it every time. So anyway, we're just trying to get as much bang out of this. We're just switching our muscles over. It's very important. This is a very important piece of it. We're also in rotation 2 of our abs. And that's about it for this, for the training, where we are for this training. For this week, we will actually be doing Tuesday at 5:30 in the gym, Wednesday at 4:10 in the stadium parking lot. We're going to carpool and go up for a run. Thursday at 5:30 in the education gym again. Friday at 6 a.m. at Turtle Rock Coffee. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're going to discuss this a little bit, but right now it's to be announced. We'll let you know a little later. Okay, so I've also created this very cool folder that says training schedules. It's called training schedules. That's not important. But what is important is it has in here all kinds of good information for you to know if you're interested, if you're really interested in the details of things. So basically, first of all, what we have is the thing we're looking at first. Remember that yearly training synopsis? Not this one, sorry. The yearly training synopsis that I showed you earlier. This one, that one is, I've sent it out a couple times, but that is actually in this Google sheet, this Google Sheets thing. Wrong one. Somewhere. There we go. So right in here, so if you click on this, you can go there and check this out. I also have all the strength training in there. So if you click on this, you can see what we're doing for September, the strength. So this is September's strength. So you can go in there and see what's going on with that and see what, so in case you miss it or need to do that. We also have the core training rotation 2, so that if you need to do that, then you can also do that and jump in there. We also have what is new at this moment, and new for many people. We used to do this before, but this would be new for several people, is that we actually now have a daily training schedule. Now, let me give you a couple of caveats. One of them is that if you don't know, you notice right across here, across the top, there's these things called cayenne, halbest. You see these are peppers. And those are really important, and we need to figure out what pepper you are so that we can get you into the correct pepper. Some of you already know, but if you don't, we need to talk about it so you know which one you're supposed to be doing. It will partly depend on what you did this summer. If you didn't, we don't want to have you suddenly doing more hours because we actually are starting to go down in the hours. So these are the peppers. So this is really important. Oh, and the second caveat is you can see that this says 25 minutes and 29 seconds. Please, please. I can't make these things round up very well with time. These are based upon complex percentages of the year, amount of training, the hours, everything like that. So they come out in these kind of random numbers. I don't even know how we ended up with one that says 40 minutes. That's insane because it never ends up that way. So you just have to know that these are real guesstimates, right? I mean, if it says 25, 29, and you do 30 or you do 25, it's all fine. It's not a big deal. You don't worry about that. But what these tell you is that if you can look at these and you can say, okay, well, match these up with the training, and you can say, okay, well, the training this week, the group training this week was maybe, 9 hours of training. Well, I'm supposed to do 12 hours of training this week, so I have to find 3 hours on my own. So that's what this is going to help you do. So this is help you figure out what else you might need to do, or it might tell you that I need to do a little less. So when we do a roller ski, for example, and we're doing an hour 15 or an hour 20 or something, like you can look and see we just have an hour 20 for the hottest pepper, and you can say, geez, I'm only supposed to do an hour. You can turn around and come back. So that's what the point of this is. A couple of things that are in here. You'll notice that the 1 hour, that's just 1 hour is just what we're calling the strength coregasm in the yoga. So that just always sits in. It doesn't populate as a percentage of the week of training. It just does that. And so you can kind of see down here, the strength in yoga is 2 hours, and then aerobic hours will be these other hours. Okay, so that you'll get an idea of how that works. All right, so you can see it kind of goes through and it tells you stuff. This should be helpful. All that's up there right now is through the next 6 weeks. You can see that the recovery week has a dark band around it, so there will be 2 days off during that week. But you can see that will help you figure out what you want to do for your additional workouts should you need those. So the last thing you're going to see that's in here is called optional morning workouts. So when you went to that fall training and you said, oh, I'm supposed to be, so we'll go back to this and take a look at this. When you go into here, right, you're going to see that say that I'm a ghost pepper, okay? And a ghost pepper is a little over 500 hours for the year. I'm a ghost pepper, and I look at this and I see that, at Tuesday, and I look and see that I have an hour of strength, but I also have 53 minutes of aerobic stuff. And I realize that, our training only does 10 to 15 minutes during practice of that stuff. So I'm going to need to find another 40 or 45 minutes during the day. So this is an example of when I'm like, okay, I need to do an extra workout on Tuesday to help reach my goal hours. So I'm going to go to the optional morning workout sheet and see what would be good. So on Mondays, we suggest you don't do anything. But on Tuesday, 30 minutes to an hour run, depending upon what your pepper says you should be doing. Wednesday, we'd like you to do your choice, so you can run, roller ski, swim, or bike, whatever you want. We encourage, and Thursday we once again encourage you to run once again, because the running is actually incredibly good. Even if you don't like it that much, it's actually incredibly good for your ski practice and everything, and you need to continue to do that. On Friday, you can do in the afternoon if you want. You can do an active recovery of your choice for however long you think you need to. And then we do the Team OD on Saturday, and then Sunday, whatever it says to do on Sunday. We also say you can add core either Saturday or Sunday, whichever you think works best for you. All right, so that is the FrostByte for this week. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, please feel free to ask us. We'd be more than happy to help you figure out multiple things. For example, what pepper you are, and all kinds of other various things. So and explain more about anything else. So please let us know if you have any other questions, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.